Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and welcome. Welcome to the Infinite Way, where spirituality meets humanity. I'm your host, Dr. Enolia, and it brings me great pleasure to introduce you to Natalia Jansen. And let me tell you a little bit about her. Natalia Jansen is a theater inspired transformation coach, award winning educator, and international TEDx speaker who helps people stop shrinking, hiding, or settling and start starring in their own lives with boldness, clarity, and joy. She's the founder of Starring in Your Life, a platform for purpose driven individuals ready to rewrite their internal scripts and step into their starring role. Blending theater, improvisation, and spiritual principles, Natalia guides clients to reconnect with their power, presence, and potential. With over 20 years of experience as a theater artist and educator, Natalia's approach is embodied, energetic, and rooted in joy. She's currently pursuing her PhD in educational leadership, where she's researching the impact of theater and improv on building positive self image, the foundation for real transformation. She's also the creator of Star Power Stories, a video interview series spotlighting people who have turned their truth into impact. So, welcome, Natalia.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you, and I'm so thankful that you said yes. And I love the fact that you are a theater director and you have found in your craft the way to uplift people. So, tell us about your passion. I want to know what inspired you to go into theater direction.
Mhm. I discovered theater when I was in high school. Uh,
Okay.
it's a really funny story. Some of my friends, my classmates thought that I didn't have too many friends. And see, I thought I got along with everyone, so I didn't kind of belong to any group. So maybe that's what they meant. That I was a floater. And and uh and an opportunity showed up, and we have these clubs, these children's centers where I grew up in Slovakia. And I went to an audition, not having any experience, not knowing what to expect. And but they were looking for teenagers to join this club, to do a performance, to potentially perform the play in festivals. And so it was just really fun. um, and so I auditioned. I stepped on the stage and I was asked to be a rag.
Okay.
you know,
That's interesting. That's a hard one. That's not easy.
in a split second, I was like, okay, a rag. Like, okay, how? And so this happened like really fast in my head. Okay, how am I gonna be a rag? So, and then I slumped my body, and then I started moving around the stage as if somebody was moving me. You know how you use a rag to like wipe the floor? So
Yeah.
that was the thing that I was doing. And I guess it worked, or it made an impression. And I love that instant connection between my mind, my body, and then surrendering to that, because
Mm.
what happens sometimes when kids in class, I teach theater right now. I teach for elementary school kids. I was a high school theater teacher. I worked with college performers, with professionals, all kinds of setting. What can happen is that you get stuck in your head and you start thinking about it too much, right? So, and then you can't think your way into it, right? You can't think your way into being. You just have to be. You have to surrender and do it. And I think somehow it just all worked out and happened in that moment. I got invited to join the troupe. There was four of us performing, and it was a really interesting story. It was kind of a deconstruction of the story of Medea. Uh,
Okay.
Three girls were playing the three different aspects of her. One was the
Okay.
emotional, the woman who was in love, who was desperately in love with the man who betrayed her trust. Yes, after they were
Hmm.
married, they had kids. Then one aspect, me, I played her strength, the power. that part of her that was almost cruel, right? Because she took her revenge. She killed her own son so that they would never grow up to be men like their father, who would betray a trust. And then she went after his new fiance. Everybody, hello. So so I was kind of that driving force, that power in her is like, no, you have to stand up for yourself and for the women of the world. And she went very extreme. And then the third part of her was, I don't even remember what the third part was. This was like more than 30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, no problem, no problem.
I remember me, I was wearing a chainmail. I had big combat boots. I had my hair was cut in that, that cut, like a Cleopatra style.
Mhm.
So, and I was this, oh, powerful thing. And we traveled to the theater festival in Slovakia. And I got a Rookie of the Year, Best Actress award.
Ah, congratulations.
So it was really interesting experience. It was fun. It's when I fell in love with theater. It
Mhm.
the it's difficult to put into words, but I see it every day as I work with clients or I work with the kids when I teach theater. There's something magical about um, really experiencing becoming someone else or exploring a different perspective, but fully immersing yourself in it with your body, with your emotion, with your energy, like being in the moment and thinking like this other person does and feeling as they do and putting yourself into other people's shoes. And what I do in my coaching is to really help people understand that you're doing it in your life every day, except you have grown accustomed to a particular identity, a particular role that you've gotten really comfortable playing. And now you kind of boxed yourself into this role and you are stuck in it. And my job as a facilitator is to help you understand that it is not boxed in, it is not set in stone. It is constantly evolving. And
Right,
you get to be the driving force about which direction you can evolve. And the real alignment, the real star power comes from you truly paying attention to the impulses in you, right? Because the
right.
spirit talks to you, the spirit, your soul, the purpose for which you are meant, the gifts that are inside you that want to come out, they're always whispering, they're speaking to you. And some of us are better at listening than others, right?
There
So
you go. There you go.
when we tune in and we listen, there's this knowing, there's this truth inside you that we all can connect with. So I like to do it with fun. I like to do it through play. I like to do it in a space where people can kind of relax and get to be in a safe environment and able to experiment. I love to experiment because
So I have a question for you. When did you discover that moment in your career? Where was that precipice reach when you knew that you were transcending the mechanics of acting and then that you had arrived? That's like the sweet spot when someone's in the zone, you know?
you know what, it keeps happening over and over again because I
Uh-huh.
step
There
up
has to be that first time when you discovered it.
component
That,
evolution.
you remember?
For me, that was that day on the audition.
Okay,
For me,
fair
when I
enough.
realized the moment I stopped thinking about it and I literally just surrendered, like, let's see what happens. And then I just went with my instinct and with an impulse of what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And so that was the first experience. And then, of course, then I had an idea of what I wanted. And then I started crafting an idea. And then the responses weren't the same.
Okay, okay.
My next stage in evolution was when I discovered I came to United States as an exchange student in high school, my
Okay.
senior year. And so my big dream was, oh, now I can, like, if I go to US, like that's like the whole world is gonna open up. I mean, I'm in this tiny little country, Slovakia, right?
Yes.
um, and so when someone said that I could actually go to United States and study there and learn English, for me, like the whole entire world opened up and the opportunity opened up. And the fact that my parents agreed and were willing to support this idea was amazing. So
Uh-huh.
I came to US as an exchange student in high school. And of course, I wanted to do theater, but I didn't speak very well English. I had some basic, school English from my 3 years of high school taking English classes. So I had some vocabulary, but I had no fluency. I had no ability to hold a conversation. I kept asking to people to slow down and repeat because I didn't understand what they were saying.
I know that feeling. I'm learning Portuguese the same way.
So, but I was, I was a really good student back home. So that was a little bit of pride and ego there. Like I couldn't like not be good at something. And so besides the fact that I was taking AP biology class with a textbook that was like 5 inches thick and with a like font of 8, where there would be thousands and thousands of words that I had no idea what they were. Um, I took the theater class and I auditioned for a play, and no, I didn't get a part. But my teacher stirred me into the direction of being a director.
Oh,
Since I
okay.
put like because she was concerned my accent, people wouldn't understand me on stage, so she didn't give me a part as an actress, but she guided me towards try directing. And then a new world opened up for me.
Okay.
Now, as a director, not only did um, I got to read the words that the playwright wrote, I got to create a vision of how I saw the story unfolding. And then I had to learn how to bring everybody on my team to see that vision the way I did so that we can make it come alive together. And
Hmm.
that was amazing. And so that's how I moved into the directing. I still love being on stage. I love performing. And eventually, as my English improved, I was able to do that more.
Okay.
But I love being a director. I love that my work is throughout the process. I guide the actors, I help them become the characters, I help them stage. I help them understand the movement and dynamic, how that creates a picture. I see the whole picture and they are parts of it. And I get to craft it the way that I want the audience to receive it. I get to add music to it, music cues. We get to create a background, right? So I get to work with all these different artists and I get to be this kind of like um, overarching leader, for a better lack of a better word. I get to
Yes.
lead
No,
this
it's
vision
valid. Yeah.
life. And so, and then when the opening night happens, I get to sit and I get to see the vision come alive, and my job is done. And then the actors and everybody else who's doing the work, the stage manager takes over, and it's really wonderful. And it my the during the time when I transitioned from being a student in the United
Hmm.
States because, yes, my goal of going to college worked.
Okay.
I went to college at Lake Forest College in Illinois.
Okay.
It's a small private school. That was also a magical thing how it all happened.
Hmm.
While I was there, um, I didn't realize that the school did not have theater as a major. I decided I was going to study theater. I wanted to study theater. I wanted to continue pursue my passion. And they had a theater program. They had a lovely, beautiful theater. Um, the entire setting for the campus is so picturesque. It's like a fairy tale town.
Right.
And when I discovered that they didn't have theater major, that I had to pick a different major, I could take theater classes and participate in productions. I was like, no, 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 I have to be a theater major. Like, this is what I want to do. And, when there seems to be that there's no way, there's always a way, right? And that's part of what it looks like to be a star in your life, that you don't let the circumstances, the conditions, or the previous experience, or the past experience, or other people's ideas or thinking stop you from moving into what it is that you want to create.
So
Um,
I'm going to pause you right there because there's some questions I want to interject in here before you get to the star in your life, starring in your life. So I see the natural progressions of being that director, okay, and how that would easily transition into coaching because you're sitting there and you have to inspire an actor or an actress. And, how do you move that energy in the respect that you could have somebody very insecure just going, is that right? I don't feel good. This doesn't feel right. Blah, 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 blah. What is it that lifts them up? And how do you get them to feel that transcendence that you just described in the beginning of the show that you felt as an actress?
my main goal is to teach people to learn to trust themselves.
Mm,
And so creating a space using theater is a really great way because it's playtime. It's
okay.
fun. There's no real risk. So even if you do it wrong or you think it's wrong, there's no major consequences. So it's okay. It's okay to make it to mess it up and to do it because the main thing is to do it. So
Hmm.
the biggest obstacle people have is between they have this desire, they want it, and then they're afraid because they're already judging themselves. They've already assumed that it wasn't going to be good or they're not going to do well. And guess what? First time you do something, it's not good. It's just don't. I mean, how did you learn to walk? You fell down
Right.
again and again and again and again, right? It's that at no point when you were a toddler did you decide, well, that's it. I'm not meant to be a walker. It's not, so that's the idea. So uh, I do my best. And when people are willing, obviously, you can't make someone do something they don't want to do. But if the desire is there and their willingness is there, I create a safe space for them to trust me that it's okay. It's okay
Mm.
to fall down. It's okay to be silly. It's okay to make a mistake. The sun will still come out tomorrow. You will still breathe.
And that's a big trust and that's a big coaching. I wasn't going to say anything, but I actually had the lead in my high school play. And I remember it was called Bitter as Candide. And I played like this 80-year-old woman,
Mm,
that was bitter, and in the end, she transcended that bitterness. And I remember like memorizing the lines, running the lines with whomever I had to run the lines with, and practicing and everything else. But it was a whole nother dynamic in front of the audience. It was like all of the things that were jokes, like I'm not one who knows how to just be a comedian or be silly. Like it takes a lot for me to just let go, be silly, blah, blah, blah. Not that I'm not capable of it. It's just like people who purposely make other people laugh. I'm not good at that. Like, I don't know how to just crack a joke and make everyone crack up laughing in the whole thing. And people are natural at it. And so there were jokes written into the script. And, I would always go through the joke. And the night of the show, and I'm delivering the lines. And I remember my partner who was opposite me going, shh, shh, don't laugh. Shh, shh, wait, don't run your lines too fast. Because I hadn't known to pause for the laughter.
uh-huh.
And it was just like, oh my God, I'm making people laugh. This
Yes.
is this is unbelievable. I can't believe people are actually laughing because I don't know how to crack jokes. And they're laughing. So it was done for me. And just having that whole experience was a tremendous outing of knowing that what you do can make people's energy be lifted and you can help them to forget
Right.
and
And
that
you
there's a love of what you do that helps them just release.
right. And you touched on a key word. See, that's the magic of theater.
Okay.
That makes it different from film, right? In a film, the actors are performing in front of a small crew, if at all. There's no audience.
Hmm.
They have to generate the emotion, they have to generate the feeling, and they
Hmm.
get to do it again and again and again until they get the take that the directors like. right?
Okay.
Once the take is on camera, it's on film, it's there forever. You can play 1,000 times, it's going to be exactly the same, the way it was captured on camera. Theater, a live performance, only works with the live audience because there's an exchange of energy.
Hmm.
That's what mirrors it real life. There's not a single live performance that went exactly the same way as the one the night before, because
You're
there's
right.
always something, there's energy, the way the audience reacts, the way you woke up that morning, or what you ate for breakfast, and what the dynamic is, though somebody had some kind of a tough day and they bring a new energy. All of that comes into the picture, and all of it, even if you in rehearsed play and you all have lines and you know what you're supposed to say, the energy is never quite the same, and mistakes can be made, and you have to think fast and you have to react in the moment. I have to stay in the character, you have to true to it, and amplify that with improv, where there is
Hmm.
preparation or rehearsal, where you have to absolutely trust. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust your gifts. You have to trust your talent, your training, your practice, everything that you've brought up until that now, everything is inside you. And then you have to simply step out into that stage and you have to be there, fully exposed, fully as whoever you're supposed to play, and you got to do it in a moment. You have to think fast, you have to listen and respond. That's real life. And so we use this technique to help people kind of rehearse and practice a certain way of being that they would
Okay.
really love to be, right? That they're not quite there, but in a workshop with me, they get to practice being that. And then once you practice something, it feels more familiar. It's no longer as daunting and scary as when you just think about it, right? When you've tried it and then you've tried it again and again, you become familiar, you become better at it, just like anything with practice, right?
Yes.
Becoming is a process. And anything that you want to become, you can practice being it. You're gonna act as if you're gonna be that. You're gonna learn how to think, how to choose your words, how to respond, how to change the way you choose to behave or act in the moment, that's more aligned with the vision of who you want to become. It's all a process, and it's all part of this playful experiment. And you get,
So, understanding all of that, how did you progress into wanting to coach? Because, in a sense, you're already coaching as that director and you're doing it live, you're doing it under the auspices of getting an end result that's just phenomenal, that inspires not only the person who's going through the iterations of acting, but the audience too. And you're absolutely right about the energy. Everybody's energy is different every night. You can get in a crowd that just won't laugh at all, or it's hard to make them laugh, or you can get another crowd that just starts laughing so fast you can't get them to like calm down so that you can execute what you have to say. So understanding that there are extremes in everything, why would you want to branch out into coaching outside of that experience, since that's such a wonderful experience?
well, because I'm not professionally directing now.
Okay.
I am a single parent, and I let go of that, and I moved into education. And
Okay.
that was also part of my journey, because I came here as an exchange student. I have been a student in the United States for 9 years, paying foreign
Wow.
tuition and making it work by myself.
Okay.
My parent, the finances in Slovakia cannot possibly match or
Yeah.
see with the cost of the schools here. Even so, I mean, Lake Forest College was a private school, and that was back in 1995 when I went there, and the tuition was $22,000. Okay,
Oh yes, I know about that because I sent two boys through school.
perspective, an average salary or payment in Slovakia at the time would be maybe $400 a month. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
how would you come up with 22,000
22,000.
when they send me an acceptance letter, they offered me what they normally traditionally offer a foreign student, which is 50% scholarship, which is $11,000. And I wrote them a beautiful, grateful letter. Thank you so much. I would love nothing more than be able to come to school here, but there's no way that I can come up with $11,000. Like I explained, what where our background is. And the gentleman who heard about me, who knew my story, he happened to be on the board of directors at Lake Forest College, and he apparently he insisted that they figure out a way to make it possible for me to come to school there.
Which is so beautiful. It's
And
so wonderful to hear stories like this, to know that somebody had actually chose to be a light in somebody else's life.
yes, and so that was magical when like a few weeks later I got a new letter with a completely different offer, with offer of a job on campus and a loan. The school privately they gave me part of the loan and 90% scholarship. Is like it was unheard of. I was like, yes, I'm paying. And then I find out there's no theater, and I was like, oh my god. So that was a whole another. But see, I was so insistent. No, I have to study theater. So turns out there is a possibility of being an independent scholar where you get to create your major. You
Yes.
decide what courses you take, and you simply have to defend them, justify them in front of the academic committee. So that's
Hmm.
what I did. I had to figure out what are the courses that a theater director would need, right? And I picked courses that I wanted to take. I found a way to make it work, and I included a study abroad. That's how I went to India. I studied India and I lived in India for 6 months. And so one of my junior year was all about study abroad. The first 3 months were preparation. The students who selected this study abroad, we got to know each other. We started learning the basics of the culture, the language, the proper way of eating, proper way of putting on a sari, the etiquette, how to behave, how to be in the family, because we were hosted with families. And then the other 2 trimesters, we lived and studied and traveled in India. And that was like the most amazing thing in my life.
Well,
Then,
first of all, it talks about it speaks volumes to your fortitude, your strength, and your courageousness. Okay. Because, first of all, to be an exchange student and to come from Slovakia all the way to the United States, and then to turn around and be able to spend time in India also. And I want you to know, I know this from firsthand because my boys started traveling at fifth grade and sixth grade, right? They went to France, Italy, and Greece, China. They went to Fiji and Australia. I mean, like they traveled and people were like, "You're crazy. Why would you let them do that at that age?" And it was in a program, it was in a formalized program called People to People Student Ambassadors. But what made me proud is when my youngest son went to the College of Engineering, he was the first student to petition the College of Engineering to do an exchange at RMIT in Australia. And they were like, it's unheard of for an engineer because engineers are their case study is so heavy. How would they have time to do that? But he did. He made it work. And to have that other cultural experience, to broaden your horizons and have the strength and the courage to pick up and go to a whole nother country. And then I'm living in Angola, right? So
yeah.
I understand fully right now, as late in life as an adult, what it is to pick up, go to a whole nother country, don't speak the language, et cetera, et cetera. And I also did a student exchange at University of Puerto Rico when I was at University of Massachusetts, and I deviated for 6 months there.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes about you right off the bat. And so I can totally see you sharing that strength and that expansion of experience to those who need it coaching wise to start in their life. So take us in the progression of how you chose and how starring in your life came to fruition.
So yes, so being a teacher in a classroom is just from my studies, I needed to transition into a job. Being a foreigner, I needed a steady job and a company willing to sponsor my work visa, which is
Uh-huh.
why I wasn't able to pursue directing further. Um, uh, I at that time I didn't
Right.
see a path to a stable job in a company, because being a director, it's a seasonal, it's a project thing, it's not. So that's how I pivoted and I went into education. Because I
Okay.
wanted to see what can I do where I can stay connected to my biggest love, which is theater, right?
Hmm.
And then also get my work visa so that I can stay here and live here and build my life in this country.
Right.
That's how I ended up in education. And to make a long story short, as life continued, I became a mom.
Uh-huh. Congratulations.
And then suddenly I became a single mom unexpectedly all of a sudden. And being by then I I got my green card. I was teaching theater in high school. It was amazing. I got to direct, I got to do things, but then my friend was raising my kids and that didn't sit right with me. So
Right.
I did not feel good. And so it, then my next step was search for a different position. And um, I ended up teaching theater as an itinerant in elementary schools. So my day was a little bit shorter and was just the right time that I could come and get my kids and be a present parent and raise my daughters. And then COVID happened.
Okay.
And during the COVID, when everything shut down and I was teaching theater online and I was teaching, my daughters were taking their dance classes online and doing school online, and we were all three in different rooms of the house, closed off. And I started noticing that, it's past my 40th birthday. I looked in the mirror and I saw the number 11, the number 11 over here.
Hmm.
And then I realized, okay, the whole world stopped, which is something like I used to wish for the world to stop so that I can catch up and finally like start living my real life. Because when kids came and I became a single parent, suddenly everything else became a pause. And
Yeah.
I was just a mom making sure that my daughters don't want for anything. That the fact
Right.
that I'm a single parent does not mean that they will feel like they don't have what they require. So I was all about making sure my daughters have everything they need. But in the meantime, I pulled away from life. I pulled away from friends. My life shrunk, and I was only a mom.
Right.
And so that was my supporting role. That didn't feel good. After a while, it didn't feel good. And the COVID was that moment of where I took a real look at my life, and I took a real um, honest look at it. And I realized that my life isn't going to change if I keep doing the same thing.
Hmm.
Prince Charming isn't going to knock on my door and suddenly rescue me, because when I am here and I'm hiding and nobody in the world knows that I'm miserable, I only know. It's only me. I am only the
Right.
one who knows. So that was a pivotal moment where I started to ask, being a classroom teacher, as wonderful as my job is, it was not enough. It was not enough. I wanted to make bigger impact. I wanted to make a difference. I want to leave a legacy behind. I want my life to matter, and I wanted to have more fun. Like my daughters are growing up. Soon enough they will leave the home. They'll be
That's
living
right.
a
That's
life,
right.
and I'm going to be all by myself. That didn't set right with me. Like that's not what I want.
I have a name for this. I call it the martyr syndrome. Because what we as women do is we put everybody in front of us, whether you had a partner or not, we put
Yes,
everybody in front of us and
exactly.
we sacrifice everything instead of having equal standing in the actual unit, family unit, regardless of what it's made up of.
Right.
And so what happens is that we get to a certain age. I remember in my late 40s going, okay, look at my life. How did I get here? What am I doing? And there's got to be more than this.
Yes.
There's got to be more than this. Help.
Right.
Somebody help me. I feel like I'm drowning. And then we do cultivate our children to do what? To grow up and step away and stand on their own 2 feet. That's the natural progression. They're not going to be with us all our lives. So redefining who I am is huge. And there are many, and I want to highlight this part because many of us as women go through this moment and many just settle and just go, okay, this is the way life is going to be. I have no choice. There's nothing I can do. And I'm too afraid to dare to redefine my life at the age of late 40s, early 50s.
Yes. And
And I was one of those women who did. I actually did redefine my life at that time. But go
and
ahead, I'm sorry.
so did I. And that's the thing. So many people just settle, like you said. They accept this is how it is. And then they think it's too late because I'm
Yes.
too old, or I don't have the money, or that sneaky fear of, then I'll lose what I have.
And I'm too comfortable to dare to lose any of that. So it would cost me my standard of living. So no, 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 no. I'd rather grin and bear it and to keep the standard of living and be miserable.
And that is the biggest dream killer. That is the biggest uh pain point, and something that people, once you get to the end of your life and the death is staring you in the face, that's what we regret, right?
Yeah.
I did not want to I am very consciously aware of the fact that every single day that I wake up and I take a breath and I become consciously aware that I'm awake and I'm alive, it is a gift. I don't get out of bed unless I am happy and smiling and ready for the day to start. No matter what the day is bringing or what things I need to get done, I am so grateful that I'm alive, because that moment when I realized I'm only getting older, my life is moving forward, and I'm still waiting to start my real life. No more waiting. No
Hmm.
more. I started searching, and I looked. It's interesting because, like, right when I had that realization, um, I started taking classes with Natalie Ledwell on mind movies. I started doing mind movie vision boards, and then an email lands in my uh, inbox inviting me to do an interview to see if I have what it takes to be a life coach, if I feel to be a life coach. And so that was an invitation from Mary Morrissey's Brave Thinking Institute. And so I was like, yes, this is it. I like it, because I looked at my life and I noticed all of my life I love being a student. Right?
Hmm.
I'm 48 years old now. I am in school working on my PhD.
Hey, I got mine in my 50s. You're not, you're
It was a dream, but with the my awareness at the time when I finished my graduate school and I started working, and I needed to get the visa, and I need to become a citizen, like there's all these other things that were higher priority. So my PhD dream was put on hold. And then I had kids, and then as all this stuff happened. And then I became certified as a life coach. I went through an amazing, rigorous training with the Brave Thinking Institute, and I reawakened the dreams. And then, I believe in integrity. I believe in being, true to your word. When I say something, I do it.
yes.
All right? When I speak my words, I choose them carefully because I understand the power my words have. I know that every thought that I think, every word that I speak creates my reality, my experience, my life. It is subjective. And I know that I am in charge of it because I am connected to this one life that we're all part of. There's only one life. In science of mind, we talk about it one mind, and it is the mind of God, and everything is of this mind, including me, and I am fully connected. So it was a journey, but it started with that realization that nobody else is going to do it for me. I have to do it. And then I went in search of mentors and guides, and I found many of them. And Mary Mercy and Brave Thinking Institute would be one. It was very powerful, big, huge impact. And then my study continues. I'm still in a study. I'm still part of many different coaching and masterminds. As I teach others and I coach, I am continuing to grow and expand the possibilities and potentials of me, because I know there's no end to it. The
Right.
only limits exist in our thinking, in our mind, right? So that's how it happened. So I realized that I wanted my life to be more, and I took stock of what I like to do when I'm not busy doing things that I'm required to do as a mom or as a teacher. I've always read books on spirituality, books on self development,
Mhm.
self improvement.
Lifelong learner. Yes.
So I realized, well, might as well, like I keep doing it, let's put it into practice. So that's how my evolution has transitioned into the coaching, because as a teacher I've been a coach all my life. uh,
Okay.
so now I'm just expanding um my student body, I guess,
Okay. Yes.
audience which that I want to reach would be every woman, every human being on this planet is connected to this one life. They're divine in nature and they have a unique perspective and experience that are unique and subjective manifestation of this one life, the God, the universal intelligence. There's no one else like them. And the starring in your life is a way to help them understand that they're completely in charge and in control. They're the highest authority on their life. And the gifts that they have to offer the world, they're the only ones who has the gifts. Nobody else has the same compilation of set of experiences and the gifts and talents to offer. So if they don't, live it full out, the world is missing out. There's like a piece of the puzzle that's not fully shining its light. So
That's
my
right.
to help to guide people to teach and facilitate their evolution.
That's beautiful, beautiful. So, what are some of the programs that people could sign up for?
um the main program that I want people to consider as an entry point is called Star Power Masterclass.
Okay.
It is a 6 month life mastery study. Each month is dedicated to a specific area of life where we dig deep into understanding how we create the results, what are the real causes, what are the effects, and then craft a vision for the life that truly would love to live. Who it is that is, what is the starring role as they can imagine it right now,
Hmm.
understanding that as they start implementing these spiritual principles and understanding and start growing their awareness and their conscious awareness of who they've become up until now and how to become who they want to be, how to step into their starring role. It's an evergreen evolving process, and that every single opportunity to grow is in noticing and becoming aware of our patterns, of our reactions, of our interactions, of our longings and discontents, right? Those are the two um, signals that the universe or the soul sends us, that we need to learn to pay attention and tune in. And most of all, learn to trust yourself, knowing that all the answers are here and you can find them in here, not out there. Um,
I'm smiling because this sounds like my masterclass too, and I love it because there are many roads to the one. There are
right.
many roads to the one, and there are many methods by which we all work, but we're all light workers. And I'm absolutely loving. I'm getting chills. I absolutely love what you're sharing because that's it. You know, a lot of programs have you looking outside of yourself. Oh, use this checklist outside. Blah 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 blah. No, no, it's inside. So please do continue. This is so beautiful. This is so, so beautiful.
So I love to offer this as a first step because it's accessible and it's an evergreen. It's a 6 month course, so each month is dedicated to a different aspect of life mastery. And then but every month you can sign up. So if you, I'm the new masterclass is launching on August 4th. Uh,
Okay.
Reminding evening is August 4th. So the month of August will be the first dedication to creating a vision and getting clear on what it is that we would truly love to create, and what are the um, what are the, you know, things that get in the way, how to recognize them, how to start noticing and be aware, and then how to come from the vision. When you're looking for answers and solutions and inspired ideas on the actions to take, you want to make sure that energetically and emotionally you're connected to the vision and you're coming from that place, because you can't get to your dream. You have to come from it, right? You need to embody. And so that's where the theater and improv comes into the place, where we
So beautiful.
practice embodying, being the future you who already has everything you want to create, and how to notice the thinking patterns that are getting in the way, emotional guidance, how to notice how our feelings and our body is talking to us and giving us signals in terms of where we are energetically, if we're aligned with the vision or we're off. And so, and then each month is dedicated to a different area of life. So somebody can join the class the month two, it's fine. They get to they get to start from month two, three, four, five, and then do the first one, and the next run comes around.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. And I can't believe we're coming up on an hour already. So I'm going to ask you one last question, which is what do you want to leave the audience with? What is it that you want them to remember you by and in terms of of lifting them up?
What I would love for them to remember is that there's no need to audition. Don't wait for the right time, it'll never come. Don't wait for the circumstances and conditions to be aligned. That's not going to happen. All of those thoughts and patterns of resistance are just different fears in you. So take a minute, sit in silence, listen to those fears, get underneath them, find out where they're coming from, and listen to that small, still voice, that whisper of your soul that's telling you what it is that you love. And here's a clue: anything that makes you laugh, that brings you joy, that feels natural, that's it. That's where you should give your attention. That's where you should be pursuing your path. So, to be a star in your life, you have to trust your own judgment and know that you have all the answers inside you.
Oh, Natalia, that's phenomenal. Thank you so, so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being on the Infinite Way. And I'm excited. I'm going to announce it right here that Natalia is going to be one of our podcasters on Wombology. She's going to be hosting her own show there on Wombology on the radio. So we want to invite you. We're excited to have her come on board, and you will truly be an inspiration, and what you share and your philosophy needs to be amplified. And this is why I'm so excited to have you on Wombology. The power of your words and how you engage that heart connection and planting the right seed in the heart of others is so important. And you're definitely a blessing, and we thank you for the contribution to humanity that you're bringing. So stay tuned and tune into wombology.world, and you'll see Natalia there, and check out her show and stay tuned for her show. Did you want to say anything else?
No, if you want to, if you'd like to learn more about different opportunities that I offer, just to go to starringinyourlife.com and check it out.
And I would have actually invited you to that, but you have it right there on your background. So I know that everyone had your website, so you're all set. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Well, thank you again, Natalia.
Thank you. It's been an honor. I really appreciate this opportunity.
We really appreciate you too. So, if you like this episode, please subscribe and please share it with somebody who needs to hear the words that Natalia is sharing. You may change somebody's life and you don't even know it. So, subscribe, share, and like. And this has been another episode of The Infinite Way, where spirituality meets humanity. And we hope that we'll see you next time. Stay tuned. Take care for now. Bye.